I, female 30, have been with my fiance, Ned, male 36, for a year and a half. He has a very young son with his ex-girlfriend. They don't have a custody arrangement, but he has him most of the week because the mom is currently sick. His son is lovely, but I noticed that Ned takes him everywhere he goes, including places that aren't child-friendly, and we have an issue with that now, but we're working on it. His son's birthday was days ago. Ned took us to a restaurant to celebrate. The place was nice and looked a bit unfitting for the occasion because it was a somewhat expensive place. Anyways, we ordered food and then got the birthday cake, which was a surprise to me because I thought we were going to celebrate at home so we could be free to sing and play however we wanted. I still had no issue with that till Ned started to sing the happy birthday song to his son. I was stunned. I almost dropped my plate. He was singing it at the top of his lungs, not even looking around or paying attention to how many people were staring at us awkwardly. I felt so embarrassed. I kept whispering for him to stop, but he ignored me. Of course, my future stepson was hyped and a little too active, which isn't good when we're in a public place. I expected the staff, the manager, anyone to get involved and stop him, but no one did. In fact, some woman came up to us and offered that she helps him take a video recording. I wasn't in it at all. I froze in my seat, looking stunned and a little angry. He looked at me later, asking what was wrong. I didn't say anything except, "Thanks for finally noticing." He didn't understand what I meant, and I didn't explain it until we were in the car. I flat out told him that he embarrassed me the second he started singing in the restaurant. He looked shocked, saying he didn't understand why I would be embarrassed by him celebrating his son's birthday and cheering him up. I told him we could have done this at home, where we'd be more comfortable and free. He took it as if I was ashamed of him and his son, but I denied it and said that it just felt awkward and embarrassing too, maybe because I've never been in this situation, and also judging from the restaurant we were at. He said that his son's mom is sick, and he's trying to do all he can to cheer him up, and that all families do that, and that no one had an issue with it, except me. Then when I tried to explain, he got angry and said he no longer felt like talking. We haven't been speaking since then. It appears he's still salty about me saying what I said, and insisting that I see him and his son as an embarrassment. Am I the idiot? I think he's being too harsh with the whole ignoring me thing instead of talking it out. Oh honey, bold of you to assume you're still getting married. You are the idiot. He gleefully sang happy birthday to his child, whose mother is sick, while you sat there sulking in anger. Are you applying to be an evil stepmother by any chance? You prioritize not being embarrassed over a fun moment between a father and his son. It doesn't seem that you're a good match for someone with kids. You should not marry someone with a little kid that they love. You're going to be shocked at how often they will embarrass themselves in public to have fun with their kid. Oh, P, I don't think your knickers would survive the trauma. It's not embarrassing to sing happy birthday to a child. It is, however, super embarrassing to look angry at a person singing happy birthday to a child at the same table as you. Of course, people were looking out of curiosity and probably wondering if they should join. They probably saw your face and were confused at why you looked upset. It sounds like you embarrassed yourself. Good on that lady for cutting OP out of the video and capturing a sweet moment for father and son. Exactly. If it had been an issue, the staff would have intervened. They didn't. Given that the only actual response you got from anyone was unequivocally supportive, I think you're wildly projecting your own embarrassment and having attention called to you in public. You need to acknowledge that is your problem instead of taking it out on your partner. You clearly have a problem with the child. He takes him everywhere he goes. During his custody days, he would want to spend as much time as possible with his son. If you're uncomfortable with it, you need to seriously rethink your involvement with a man with a child. Wow, just wow. Do him a big favor and break up with him. It seems like the major problem here is you. My 25, wife Elise, 26, is absolutely horrible with money. She's extremely smart and has a great job, earns way more than me, but she cannot stick to a budget to save her life. I've tried to help teach her, but it's always gone terribly. Elise just has no self-control when it comes to buying stuff. I think it's related to her ADHD. So we have a system to help with it. Basically, Elise's pay will come to me, then I'll take aside her share of the necessary expenses, our savings and her savings, then give her the rest for spending. I know it may not sound great, but it works for us. Elise spent 2 weeks overseas visiting her parents and sister, Tina, 19. I couldn't go because of work, unfortunately. She did set a personal budget, though I figured she'd go over and made sure she had enough set aside. She did, but managed to last longer than usual, so it's progress. So Elise called me asking for an advance of her allowance, and I sent her the money set aside. I did tell her that if she goes through all this, I don't think I should send her more. Dipping into savings isn't the best idea when she already has more than enough. There was no issue, it was transferred, and we joked around. But apparently, Tina overheard the call and had an issue with it. Tina came back with Elise and had been staying with us the last week. I sent Elise her spending money and jokingly told her that's her allowance for being good. I didn't realize it, but Tina overheard and was not happy. She called me controlling, that I was financially abusing her sister, and that it was pathetic to act so above Elise with her money. Elise defended me, explaining that it helps her with her spending issues, but Tina just thinks she's saying it because I've manipulated her. I know it can be bad, but I don't think our system is. I'm not going out spending her money on myself or anything. Elise thinks it's fine, but when I mentioned this to my parents for advice, my father didn't like it either and seemed to think Tina has a point, even if he doesn't think I'm abusive. Mother agrees with Elise and me though. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, but if I am, I definitely should stop. Not the idiot. The system works for you and your wife. Everyone else needs to butt out. You are not controlling or financially abusing her. I have to do the same thing with my husband with ADHD, or he would spend everything. He's gotten a lot better since we got married. He was never taught how to manage money. I'll even go so far as to say his mom is terrible with money, and that was his example. Explain to Tina that you're not controlling anything. You're acting on the instruction of Elise. The budget is set by Elise, not you. If Elise wants more than the budget, she can have it. You don't take any of Elise's money for yourself. You don't personally benefit from this arrangement, as it creates additional admin for you every month, but you do it because that's what Elise wants. The use of the term allowance makes me cringe. I honestly do get where her sister's coming from though. What if your wife decided one day she was unhappy in your marriage and wanted to leave? She wouldn't have access to her own money to make plans. What happens if, God forbid, something happens to you, and she has no idea where anything is, and she can't access your mutual funds? Her sister has valid concerns with this system, and I think you guys need to revisit how it's done to make sure your wife is working out how to manage on her own. Awful things happen all the time, and it's best to be prepared. I, 46 male, have an apple tree in my backyard and a peach tree in my front yard. I live with my wife, 46, in my parents' house. My mother and father planted them. They passed away, and we decided to plant more. I only trim them when the branches get too long. They are primarily for the wildlife in the nearby woods. The deer love to come and eat the fruit. I don't spray them with pesticides as they aren't for consumption. I work during the week and don't get home until the evening. I haven't had any issues with neighbors as the house is in the countryside and surrounded by woods. A few weeks ago, a new neighbor moved into the house next door. I haven't had any interaction with them until now. I was unaware that the neighbor was coming over and grabbing fruit from the peach tree. I got home yesterday, and the new neighbor was standing on my porch. She comes storming over to my car and says the peaches made her and her son sick. I told her that the fruit was mostly for decoration and for the wildlife. She starts screaming at me and threatens to call the cops unless I take the trees down. I told her, no, I'm not going to take the trees down. My wife suggested going out to the grocery store and buying her some peaches to keep the peace. Not the idiot. Let her call the police, and if they show up, explain to them that she was stealing your organic artisanal stone fruit. Definitely don't buy her anything. That could be construed as a liability. OP should contact the police to report the interaction regardless. This woman dared to come onto their property to steal from them, then complained that they got sick from the fruit they stole. Considering her angry reaction, She may try and cut the trees down herself. Keep your guard up, OP. What is even happening here? A lady and her son move in, come and take fruit from your property, and get sick from it. Then they get mad at you, and their solution is for you to cut down the tree? What? Are they incapable of stopping themselves from taking your peaches unless you take away the option? Literally zero impulse control. $20 says they either didn't get sick and she's just trying to lie and stir crap up, or the lady stupidly picked fermenting fruit up off the ground and then ate that and fed it to her kid, probably without even washing it first. OP, to cover your own butt, put up signs that say these fruits are not for human consumption, or a sign that simply says private property, do not enter. What an entitled neighbor you have. I'm male 38, have a daughter, Mabel, teen. I'm Mabel's sole parent. Her mother signed full custody over to me and hasn't been in the picture since our daughter was 1. Being a single dad hasn't been easy, but I'm married to my wife of 2 years, Sarah, female 39. Sarah has 2 children, teen female and tween male, from a previous relationship. Before we moved in together, we agreed we wouldn't discipline each other's biological children to prevent any resentment, considering their ages when we got together. For the past couple of weeks, Mabel has been begging me to let her dye her hair purple. I've told Mabel no because unnatural hair colors are against her school's rules. If she comes into school with purple hair, they will keep sending her home until it's a natural color again. This happened to one of my friend's children. This would result in Mabel missing class, and I just don't want to risk it. I tried to compromise and told Mabel we could do a temporary wash-in, wash-out purple dye over the Christmas holidays, but she's very impatient. Mabel has now been asking to change schools, as there's another school in our area that allows unnatural hair colors. Once again, I told Mabel no. First, it's petty, but Mabel attends the same secondary school as her step-siblings. We would have to leave the house early to get them all to school on time. Secondly, the school that Mabel wants to change to has a very, very poor reputation for not teaching the students anything and letting them get away with murder. We live in a small town, and word spreads. Thirdly, we've had no problems with Mabel's current school. Her grades are decent, the teachers are good at what they do, and Mabel has many friends there. In addition, Mabel has expressed no other reason for changing schools other than wanting to dye her hair. I tried to explain to Mabel that her education is more important than this, but she insisted that she should be able to look how she wants. Mabel has been complaining about how unfair I am to Sarah. Finally, Sarah brought it up to me privately and suggested I let my daughter change schools. She said that autonomy and self-expression are essential and that Mabel should get to make some choices for herself. I shut it down and I said I'm not letting Mabel change schools just so she can dye her hair. Sarah said I'm being unreasonable and controlling. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's called parenting for the simple reason that you have to parent, and sometimes that means saying no. Changing schools over this is ridiculous. It feels like the end of the world to her, but she's a teen. Get some clip-ins, sprays, and hair chalk for the weekends. If she wants crazy nail polish or temporary tattoos, cool. If they are off or hidden for school, maybe look at getting some fun wigs. She might like learning how to dye them herself. Everyone's the idiot here. Your daughter doesn't feel validated. She's lacking an outlet for self-expression. She's literally asking for it. There may be some underlying reasons that she isn't talking to you about and is using the hair color change as a reason to move. Maybe ask her if there's anything else, or if Sarah knows something you don't. I 1,000,000% do not hate kids, and this isn't some mean witchy thing, I promise. But sister-in-law's kids love us so much that they give us like 20 plus handmade gifts every month. Pictures, collages, hand-painted ceramics, everything under the sun. These kids are crafty. Okay, so it's me, 25 female, my husband, 34 male, and sister-in-law, 32, and there are 7 kids. It's a big family. We have a few things we love and cherish from them, but we can't keep taking everything. So even when we try to put the pictures into a photo album, we ran out of room and had like 3 photo albums full of me as a gigantic circle and my husband as a frog or something. Last weekend, Sister-in-law handed us a new set of 4 mugs, all painted by the kids. I gently asked her if she could maybe keep the mugs and dial back the handmade gifts from the kids, because we already have tons of mugs and it's just the 2 of us. She was so offended and upset that she just got red in the face and started packing the mugs, very upset, and said she wouldn't bother us again. I told her that's not what I meant, but that we have so many things from the kids. I even suggested that maybe they get the kids an iPad so they can draw art to their heart's content. She grabbed the box and made this melodramatic exit and said, like, "I'll let the kids know that their auntie doesn't want their mugs that they made with love and wants her nice little Target mugs instead." She told mother-in-law, who quietly told me that I should have just accepted the mugs and thrown them away. Instead, I told her that I thought it would be better to ask the kids to put all that energy elsewhere, where it would be better appreciated. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. To be honest, this sounds like a situation where your sister-in-law likes encouraging her kids to do crafts, but also knows that she can't have her house filled up with the remnants. So she basically found the easy option of not having to throw away any of the stuff by dumping it on you guys. There also may be an issue of respect, since if you wrote your age right, you're not her age group here. So you're not wrong for establishing this boundary, and it's a problem that she brought her mother into the situation to shame you quietly. She shouldn't be involved. Maybe the thing to do is to give those albums, once filled, right back, and give her the older ones back when you get a new mug. OMG, sister-in-law and kids, I love this. So I put your art into an album for you to keep your original artwork, to look back on it when you're older. I love your mugs, but only have so much space. So here's a box of the other originals you created for you to keep, while using and enjoying the new ones. You get one thing, they get another thing right back. Eventually, sister-in-law would have gotten the hint. Jesus, 7 kids? These folks just don't have room for them either. I've thrown my own kids' art away. Not all of it, but most. I probably would have said thank you and thrown them out, as your mother-in-law suggested. But that could easily come back to bite you if sister-in-law ever inquired about the mugs. Your approach was direct and honest. I doubt she keeps 20 items of art each month from her kids, so she should not be shocked that you don't want it either. My grandfather used to run a nursing home. Every summer we would visit him and play with the nursing home residents. They loved the attention. Call a local nursing home and see if the kids could make gifts for the residents or adopt some of the residents to make things for. So many in nursing homes need attention in any form. Share this idea with your sister-in-law.